Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeff Schmidt, Senior Writer for Poets and Quants, and welcome to our online MBA admissions panel. Today we have 4 guests who will be kind of outlining both the benefits of an online education, some of the best practices for students, as well as some of the unique differentiators at their school. Each of the individuals, I'd like them to just introduce themselves, name, the school and title, and something that someone may not know about them, even from if they couldn't find from Google. Let's start with you, Carla.
Thank you, Jeff. It's nice to be here. My name is Carla Mueller. I'm the Director of Admissions for the Jack Welch MBA program. I've been with the program. I started supporting Jack and Susie from the very beginning, so over 10 years now. And I'm also a graduate of the program. So I went through the program with my husband. We went through it together, which was a really fun experience. So it was really great to be able to, speak to, interested students from both a student perspective and, from an admissions director perspective. And I couldn't be more excited to be representing this program. And I'll just share with you, we have our graduation coming up on Sunday, our annual graduation, and it's one of my favorite times of the year because what I get so excited about, you won't find this on Google or anything, is the thing that lights me up is just watching the transformation that happens in the lives of our students, and I just love it. I think I have the funnest job on the planet. So. Thank
you, Carla. Emily?
Hi, everyone. I'm Emily Archambault. I'm a Director of Master's Admissions here at Carnegie Mellon University's Tepper School of Business. I've been with the Tepper School almost 8 years now and work with our full-time and our part-time MBA students throughout the admissions process. And something that you may not find about me on Google is that I've been skydiving twice, which from my a little bit type A personality might be surprising to some.
Tracy.
Great. Thank you for having me today, Jeff. So my name is Tracy Hess. I'm with the Isenberg School of Management at the University of Massachusetts Amherst. And I am Associate Dean for graduate programs in Isenberg, which includes all of our master's levels program, master level programs, and especially our online MBA program, which has been in existence for over 20 years now. So I'm really excited to be here and share more about our program. And something interesting about me that you won't find on Google is that I learned to play pickleball over my last vacation. And well, that's a lot of fun. And I'm hoping to get a little bit better at it.
Thank you, Tracy. Casey.
Thanks, Jeff. My name is Casey Jones. I'm the Associate Director for Recruitment and Admissions with our IMBA program at the University of Illinois Gies College of Business. In addition to our IMBA, we work with our other online programs in business, our IMSM, Master of Management, and IMSA, Master of Science and Accountancy. A little about me is I'm a new mom, and so learning how to balance, professional and personal commitments, and I think that resonates with a lot of our students as well as we're talking about graduate education and particularly in the online space.
Congratulations, Casey.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, I wanted to share some questions that some of our Poets and Quants readers would like to know a little bit more about your school. Since you're up, Casey, let me ask you, tell me a little bit about the University of Illinois East program, online MBA program. What are just some basic fundamentals about it, and maybe what makes it so unique, so different, and so effective?
Sure. So our program launched in 2016. We've grown from an initial cohort of about 116 students to currently just at 4,500 enrolled students and nearly 2,000 alums within that very short time span. Our program was really designed to democratize education, particularly in the MBA market. We are a Tier 1 research institution offering an MBA at an all-in cost around $22,000. So we really did want to make this affordable and also a global program. It's fully online, never any requirement to come to campus, but we certainly do have opportunities to do so, and we encourage students to explore those opportunities if available, to come to graduation, come to our annual event called iConverge each fall, but then we also offer a number of events across the US and even across the globe to allow for that opportunity for face-to-face connection. In terms of curriculum, all of our courses are arranged into specializations. There are 4 core specializations that all students complete, and then do have the option to select 2 focus areas or a collection of elective courses based on their interests. All of our courses include a combination of asynchronous and synchronous learning. We want this to be flexible for that busy working professional. This really is a professional level program, career curated content, but we do feel that the engagement is really critical. The network that you create is incredibly important in an MBA program. So we want to ensure that with live lectures and group projects and engagement, both with your peers and faculty. Programs designed to be completed in 2 to 3 years, and that's really based on a student's own timeline and the number of hours they have to commit each week.
Thank you, Casey. Tracy, with regard to Isenberg, you know, you in our Poets and Quants survey, you ranked as the top program for flexibility. Talk to us similar to what Casey did about, you know, some of the fundamentals of your program and some of the differentiators and what makes the Isenberg program so special?
Great, thank you. Well, so as I mentioned earlier, we've been in existence for 20 years now. We're celebrating our 20-year anniversary. Very excited about that. So we were one of the early entrants into the online MBA space. And I think what's made us successful in that space is that the same faculty that teach in our on-campus program teach in our online program. The same coursework, it's the same degree. So whether you're on campus or online, you have 39 credits that you're going to complete. And if you'd like a focus area, you complete an additional 6 credits. We have great flexibility in that we have some students that will complete in 18 months. And we have other students who are perhaps practicing doctors that might take 4 years to get through it. And we're set up to accommodate that. Our class offerings, we offer in the fall, the winter session, the spring, and the summer. And so we'll have full term semesters like you might encounter in an on-campus program, but we also have some 6-week sessions where students can take an elective or a course that fits well in that term. And thus they can really set their pace, take courses when it fits with their schedule. While also having a strong level of engagement. So all of our faculty will offer either synchronous office hours at different times during the semester, so you can pop in and ask questions, maybe solve some practice problems with the faculty member, and then network with students. Or the faculty member might offer some optional synchronous class meetings, right? So we have a range of engagement that's available for our students. Whether they want to completely go online or whether they really want some good touch points, the program works for everyone. So I'd say that's a highlight of our program there.
Thank you, Tracy. Emily, Carnegie Mellon, you did very well in our ranking this year. You know, you've been especially strong in fostering networking connections with faculty and also alumni. Follow suit. What are some of the differentiators of the program, the fundamentals? What makes Tepper go?
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. Yeah, so the Tepper part-time online hybrid program is designed to prepare leaders for the intelligent future and where data and humanity connect. And what we want to prepare all of our graduates to do is really combine the science of management, which is a core part of the curriculum, and the art of leadership to be prepared for that future. And so what we have in the core coursework is a really strong analytical foundation, as well as the leadership components that are a requirement of the curriculum. And then as students move out of the core coursework into their electives, they're able to gain that depth and specialization for different career goals. So one thing that I think is valuable about the Tepper MBA program and the part-time online hybrid specifically is that it does blend an online flexibility with some in-person elements as well. So we do have required in-person experiences that we call access weekends, where students are able to connect with professors, colleagues, really form a great bond with their cohort and meet students in our full-time program as well to really broaden their network. Those access weekends are definitely the highlight of our students and alums because it's an opportunity for them to really come together and have both curricular experiences during the weekend and co-curricular experiences with alumni. They do company visits and get to have some of the leadership development workshops that are so valuable for our full-time students in person with their cohort and our leadership coaches.
Thank you very much, Emily. Carla, Jack Welch Institute, true to its founder, has always been known for getting its students, very deep into the weeds, a lot of hands-on experience and activities. Talk to us about what some of the unique features of the Jack Welch Institute.
Absolutely, Jeff, and you hit it on the head. This program, a lot of schools and programs study great CEOs and great leaders, and this one was actually, created by one. And Jack was very hands-on. We just didn't put his name on the program. His vision, 10 years ago was to bring to an online format a program that was designed to be practical, immediately actionable, one that was designed to give, our students the tools and skills that they need to, win in business and in life. And his vision was to have something where, all of the faculty are, experts in the field that they teach, and they teach in a way that's very practical and immediately actionable. And so really one of our biggest differentiator, Jeff, and we're so proud that, for 4 years in a row, you guys have ranked us amongst the top. And last year, one of our top rankings, we are ranked in the top with our faculty and their overall quality, but as importantly, their level of engagement with the students and the satisfaction of our students and the ability to apply what they're learning directly to their jobs. And that's really, the vision that Jack had. He wanted it to be something that wasn't going to interfere with students' careers. Our average student is, has 15 years of experience. Not to say that you can't join us if you have less than that, but the wealth and diversity of students that you're going to be in class with is one of the biggest values. And as far as connection goes, it's asynchronous, so you have that flexibility. You never have to be logged in at any certain time on any given day. And again, like these other programs, it's designed for you to pace as you go. So it's a 12-course MBA. Every quarter, we're in a quarter system here, so we have 4 intakes per year. We're still enrolling for the winter term, which starts in January. We have a spring intake, we have a summer intake, and then a fall intake. So students can really gauge it as they go, either taking 1 or 2 classes per quarter. So that means they can get through the program in as little as 18 months, but they don't have to. Our average graduate, and we have over 3,000 in the last 10 years since we've been around, they're taking about 2 to 2.5 years to get through the program. If you take 1 class per quarter, it'll take you 3 years. So that's kind of what I did. I mentioned my husband went through the program too. He did out several quarters. He took like 4.5 years. So again, it's designed to fit in with your busy life to actually help propel you in your career as you're going through the program. And again, that's the exciting thing for me to watch from the sidelines in the midst of it, the level of connectivity that our students have. We have a proprietary platform, Jeff, called JWMI Connect. So that's outside of the classrooms, and our classrooms are small, never more than 19, 20 students. So you get exposure to a different set of students every class that you're in because we're not cohorted. And then, but above and beyond that, you can join our JWMI Connect. It's a proprietary platform where you can start connecting right away with our 3,000 alumni and our 2,000 students in the program and our 150 faculty. And almost every week we have different networking events, different webinars that students can attend. There's job boards. We have students from 58 countries and 47 states. So there's a tremendous amount of camaraderie and fellowship within our program that I think is surprising to a lot of students when they consider going into an online MBA program. So that's the program from the 30,000-foot view, Jeff.
Thank you very much. Carla, you talked about two themes that I hear a lot from with online MBA applicants: the sense of support and community. That's two things that sometimes scare potential applicants. Am I going to be on my own? How is the school going to help me if something goes wrong with the computer? Or how am I going to connect with these people? If I'm living in Seattle, how am I going to be able to connect with somebody in be able to have that community in Charleston? So I want to turn it over to the four of you. I'll start with you, Casey. How do you foster that sense of community, and what types of support do you offer to students? Whether it's the faculty hours, hands-on activities, coaching, career development. What types of support do you provide, and also how do you foster community?
Sure. So we have a full student and academic success team that helps with degree planning, questions on logistics, technical issues that you may experience, as well as, a number of course assistants and TAs. But faculty are going to offer office hours on a weekly basis. So an opportunity for a Zoom setting, just like we're in today, where you turn on your camera, you have those conversations, you follow up on something that may have not been clear from class that day, very similar to your experience in a residential classroom. As Carla mentioned, there are ample opportunities for networking as well, whether those are happening online or in person. We use a platform called Workplace. It's hosted by Facebook, a little bit of a combination of Facebook and LinkedIn. It's a tremendous asset to our students. It's an opportunity to ask questions, to join subgroups based on their industry, on classes that they're taking, on their geography, and really an opportunity to get some of those experiences outside of the classroom. We've seen instances of people, learning about job opportunities or posting their resume for review by 100 peers rather than one career counselor. So that's a really unique opportunity that students have. They have that global cohort, a variety of different views, and it makes all the difference. We hear from prospective students looking at online programs that they're fearful they're not going to get the networking opportunities, and we actually think that's really one of the biggest strengths of our program.
Thank you, Casey. Emily, supporting community. Talk about the Tepper take on that one.
Yeah, so we really consider our whole MBA community one community. Our part-time students have the same access to our leadership center, our master's career center coaches, our student support advisors, our faculty. It's the same MBA in a part-time format. So I'll talk a little bit about those support offices and how our part-time students work with them. But I also want to mention that I didn't share before, we do have an element that is synchronous and asynchronous. So there are pieces of the curriculum that are asynchronous, but then it's two classes during the week that meet together in a virtual classroom, so that you're really getting that face time with the faculty member and able to ask live questions and have group discussions. I think that builds community in and of itself in the classroom experience that you're having. And then during those access weekends, as I mentioned, that's when we have a lot of the co-curricular development as well with our Accelerate Leadership Center and our Master's Career Center. All students participate in the leadership development requirements and are able to get support from a leadership coach. They're executive coaches that are part of the MBA experience at Tepper. And then our part-time students have the same access to our Master's Career Center opportunities. So working with a coach on resume and interview prep, participating in on-campus recruiting. If there's a corporate event going on in Pittsburgh that you want to come to, that is open to you as a part-time student. And we know that lives are busy and there's a lot of requirements, but I do know of part-time students who have prioritized kind of key aspects of the recruiting on campus and been able to come participate in them. The other thing I'll mention is that our students can participate in clubs and lecture series that our full-time students are having, and they do that. And I think that one of the opportunities that COVID provided for us was that our full-time students were doing more things virtually, and it increased the flexibility that our part-time students had to really make the most of those opportunities and extend that community even outside of just their part-time cohort. So that's been positive for our part-time students too.
Thank you, Emily. Tracy, support and community.
Great. So I'll start off with the support side of it. We've been so pleased to launch a new career platform in the last year. We call it iConnect for the Isenberg School. And that career platform serves all of the students in Isenberg, regardless of where they're located. And in our online MBA program, where students can take a 100% online approach or a little bit more of a hybrid approach, that career platform can provide them with everything from resources to one-on-one career coaching, access to jobs really throughout the US and the world, and really opens up resources to them. As far as additional support outside of career, we like to refer to our support staff as basically providing admissions counseling from the very beginning, academic counseling right while they're in the program, and career counseling right for when they're ready to complete their degree and either be a career advancer or a career switcher. So in our online program, about 80–85% of our students are career advancers, meaning they come in, they have a strong career, and they're seeking to find new opportunities, new advancement in with their current employer, while about 15% are really looking to make a switch. And so regardless of what position they're coming from, our advising services right across academics, admissions, and career, and our new career platform provide them with the resources and the leverage to make that needed move. With regard to community, I talked earlier about some of our engagement opportunities with our faculty, whether it's office hours, whether it's optional synchronous class meetings, and students that choose to participate in that really find a strong networking opportunity through those avenues also. A lot of our classes have group projects, and so they're in groups with other students. They're real projects. They can involve outside companies, and they get to know one another and form lasting relationships as a result. And one of my favorite times of the year is commencement, where we find that a really large percentage of our online students come to Amherst and they participate in commencement. It's a great event for them. And so we get to sometimes see them for the first time in person. Other times they've been on campus before then. Either way, it's really a great celebration. And if they can't make it, we provide a virtual celebration through a virtual tool so that we can sit down at a table with them and have a chat, even if they can't make it to Amherst. So with all those resources, we have a strong community. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. Carla, any you'd kind of started this stream. Any additional points regarding the ways that the Jack Welch Institute fosters community and also provides above and beyond support like the other programs?
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you, Jeff. And we're so student focused here. That's our number one priority. And I'd be remiss not to mention, that we listen to the voice of our students, always asking them what they need. We use Net Promoter Scores here just to make sure we're constantly giving the students what they need. Our Net Promoter Scores are always in the 80s, which is considered, world class when it comes to education. Most upper education, average in the 50s. But That being said, that we really focus on student support. From the minute a student gets registered and enrolled, they join our JWMI Connect. Even before classes start, we can match them up with mentors if they want that. We have a student government board, which is kind of unique for an online student advisory panel with alumni and students. So they oversee the different networking events, but we'll also match students up with mentors. The minute they register, we also assign them to an academic advisor who have had that one academic advisor through their entire MBA journey with us. We have available to students. We have a lot of English as second language students being with 58 different countries represented. So we have communication coaches, Jeff, and we have numbers coaches when you get to those numbers classes. And the most important thing I'll say is when it comes to support in the classroom is the level of engagement that our professors do provide students. So they have office hours, but above and beyond that, they're pretty much available. They really foster those one-on-one relationships with students if they want that. It's not a requirement, but they encourage students to reach out to them independently, whether a phone call, email, and they really foster those one-on-one connections and relationships with every student. So in every class, students are going to have the opportunity to really get to know. It's almost having your own business coach, if you would. So that's, those are the things that I think are really strong with our Jack Welch MBA program, is the level of support that they get from everything from the alumni to the other students in the program to the advisors and coaches. But most importantly, or as importantly, is that one-on-one relationship that they're going to have with each of their individual professors.
Thank you, Carla. Let's look at admissions a little bit. The application process when you're looking to go back to an MBA program, sometimes it can be a little scary. It doesn't need to be. Let me ask you this. When you look at an application, I want you to take it from two angles. I'll start with you, Tracy. What is the one fundamental thing that an applicant should do that will get your attention and differentiate them? And let's take it the flip side too as well, Tracy. What is the one mistake that really stands out like a sore thumb? You want to tackle both of those. This will be something for everyone here. I'd appreciate that. I think that'd really help our readers.
Great, thank you. So for us, I'd say we take a high level approach to looking at a candidate, and we accept a wide range of attributes. So when it comes down to looking at an application package, we often focus in on that personal statement, right? How they bring together their professional work experience, their unique background, and their educational goals through that personal statement. We've tried to make our admissions criteria very transparent, even on our website, so you can see what we're looking for as far as work experience, prior academic programs, and so forth. And our admissions counselors really spend time with our applicants trying to help them, understand our admissions criteria, which are inclusive, to how to prepare their application so that it highlights their background and what they bring to the program, and to put them in the best possible light for moving forward in our program. And as far as the thing I would say, the biggest mistake that applicants make, it's not hitting the submit button. So, really online MBA programs and Isenberg in particular, we're a lot more approachable, right? Accessible than they might think. Our admissions counselors are always available to help out. So I would just encourage folks to hit that button, submit that application. They can always add updates and additional materials, but get the process started and reach out to one of our counselors.
Thank you, Tracy. Emily, what is one thing that helps someone stand out at the top of the stack? And what is something that you look at that you almost do a face palm on?
Yeah, I'll build off of what Tracy shared because I think that's a great foundation. There are such diverse backgrounds and experiences of our students that, there's not one way to be successful at the Tepper School or in the admission process. And what we're really looking for you to do is weave the story for us from where you've been, where you want to go. And the ones that stand out are really specific about how the Tepper School part-time MBA program is going to bridge the two. So what specifically about our MBA program do you feel will be an asset to the gaps that you need to fill, or will really, help you leverage the strengths that you have from your prior career with where you want to go? So I think that's one way to stand out, is to really tailor that story, and how you're connecting your assets and the strengths that you bring to the table to what the individual program is going to provide, and why you're attracted to that program. I think, the face palm is sort of the other side of that aspect, is just really not knowing the program at all. And, in our case, we do have an element that is in person, and for students that want a strictly asynchronous, fully online program, that's not the Tepper School structure. And so we want to know that you're aware of how the program is structured, and that that's going to be a good fit for you.
Thank you. Before I go to Casey, I want to focus on a point with you, Emily. Would there be an example you could give that would show, you don't need to give the candidate's name or anything, but show how a candidate really did tailor their story to Carnegie Mellon, to your, data-driven leadership approach that really did make them, stand out. Show our readers maybe how someone made it real to you.
Yeah, so I'm thinking about a candidate who was coming. He's since graduated. He just graduated this past year, and he really came from a small school in undergrad. Had work experience in the Philadelphia area. Had a liberal arts background, and was in a business role where he knew that his analytical toolkit was lacking, and that was the thing that kept coming back as, if you want to get to the next level of your career, this is where you could have a big differentiation. And so he was attracted to the Tepper School based on the management science history that we have, and the deep analytical toolkit that he knew that he would get. And then he really engaged with us. So, I met him at several recruiting events, and he talked to a lot of alumni and current students, and really understood that for him, the community was going to be a key part of it, and that he wanted that in-person element to build a strong network. And he really threw himself into it and became a student leader. He, was one of the most involved and kind of great ambassadors that we had for recruiting prospective students, because he was having such a positive experience in the program, and then was able to get that promotion at his current company actually during his third year. So that was a really positive situation of him knowing exactly what he needed, and that matching well with the strengths of the Tepper MBA.
Thank you, Emily. Casey, what have you seen what do you see as one of the fundamentals that really makes somebody a great candidate, as well as, maybe something they might do in their application that, again, I use the term facepalm.
Yeah, I think to echo a lot of what my colleagues have already mentioned, really just aligning your goals with our program and how that's a good fit is what I'm looking for first and foremost in the application process. We're much more an inclusive program than competitive, so I truly don't need you to be the best applicant I've ever seen. That's terrific when I run across people that really do stand out, but I honestly want to know you. What are your goals? What are your interests? And how is this MBA program going to help you get there? The thing, really that kind of is a turnoff is the opposite of that. When you have a great story and you write this really well-written essay, but it has nothing to do with what we asked you. It doesn't align with your MBA. It doesn't align with our program in particular. And so it just leaves me, having some questions in my mind. To go along with that, I unfortunately have read applications that mention another school they're applying to, or have misspellings in the name of Illinois or in Gies, or think we're located in Chicago, which of course people associate with Illinois, but that's truthfully not where we're located. So just doing a little bit of that research. I don't want you to pull quotes from our website and stick them in your essay. I know what it says on the website, but ensuring that you are tailoring the application to the program that you're applying for, I think is the easiest, simplest, most forward piece of advice I could give.
Thank you, Casey. Pulling quotes off the website. That I've not heard. Wow. Carla, what are your thoughts?
Thanks, Jeff. Well, I really want to steal Tracy's answer for the FACE plan. I mean, I think the biggest mistake is not hitting that submit button. That's a great answer. But I would have to say I'm going to start with the biggest kind of mistakes I see or things for improvement are students who don't have an up-to-date LinkedIn profile or resume. If they, stop 5 years ago with where they left off and submit, I think that's one of the biggest things. And also on the same term, and the things that what we do look for is that wealth of experience. And I think students, are sometimes remiss and their bragging rights on their resume and don't include the things maybe that they were doing, working while they're going through school or their volunteer experience. We value that tremendously here at the Jack Welch Management Institute, and we love to see that. We celebrate that. I encourage students to put that on there if they're, president of, the Animal Rights Club in their region or whatever the case may be. Put that on there because we celebrate that as much as we do anything else. Jack called that the generosity gene. So, and we really find that's an essential quality to great leadership is that willingness to give back, so we love to see that as well as, professional experience. We want to see we're looking for really diverse backgrounds to help bring, that diversity to the online classroom. So to celebrate the uniqueness of who you are and really to brag about it, talk about it, and most importantly, have it be current and up to date. So I would say that that's really, important. And then when another mistake is, or another thing to encourage students to do is just really focus on their why, because that's every single applicant is going to have an interview with either myself or somebody on my team before they go to the admissions board. And so we really focus a lot on that interview. And in that interview, we're going to ask what the student's why is. Why do you want this MBA? What do you hope to do with it? And, that's really important to us to make sure that this program is aligning with the students' goals and aspirations, as well as making sure they're a good fit for us.
Thank you. COVID changed the game the last 2 years. And one of the things that has really changed in education is that online has become an advantage. From looking at your program, I'll start with you, Emily. Looking at your program, how is learning online become an advantage for professionals? And what are the kinds of things that they learn by going through an online MBA program that maybe they wouldn't gain from, say, a full-time program or an executive program? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Sure. Well, I think one of the things in a part-time program that you're going to really benefit from while you're working is the immediate application of what you're learning in the classroom into your job. So, one thing that we see in our part-time online hybrid students is a pretty high rate of promotion during the program. And I think that speaks to their ability to take, the analytical model that they learned in their optimization core class and realize like, oh, this is what I needed in this problem that I'm having with my team or whatever it might be. And so I think that that's a huge benefit and can really help solidify so many of the concepts because you're applying them now, not in 2 years when you're working full time again. The other thing I wanted to say about the online environment is just that I think our online students, when COVID hit, were better prepared for the collaboration that has to happen in a virtual environment, and that, those professionals are really able to work across global teams effectively because they know how to communicate efficiently and collaborate using more than just an in-person meeting. They're able to kind of work creatively, and that's what we've seen everyone having to transition and adapt to. And our online students were really great resources to our full-time students when we were at the beginning of all of this, and our full-time students were making that transition, and in helping give them tips and explain kind of how they work on group projects remotely that our full-time students were having to learn. And I think that that's beneficial later in your careers as you're managing more dispersed teams.
Thank you. I'm going to have to switch gears here, being that we have 4 minutes left here.
Mhm.
I'm going to start with you, Tracy. I'll give you a minute. Don't mean to be the time czar here. What is one thing that you weren't able to say today to prospective applicants that you think is just paramount that they know and act on?
I would say that that our 20 years of experience in the online MBA program, and our accessibility and our transparency of admission standards really opens the door for a wide range of people with backgrounds to gain outstanding education in an online environment. And that would be my main message to share.
Thank you. Casey, what would be the one thing that you think is absolutely critical for people to know about the Gies program as they walk away from this?
Yeah, I think one thing that we haven't touched on is the opportunity to just try it out. So maybe you're not completely committed to doing a full degree plan. Maybe 2 to 3 years sounds like an exorbitantly long time. We have a number of opportunities to take a mock class, do a skills academy, do a MOOC specialization through our partner Coursera, and get the foundational component. You can also do a full 4-credit course as a non-degree student. So really just get your feet wet, learn what our program is all about in terms of curriculum style. Can I really balance this with my personal and professional commitments? If the answer at the end of the day is no, then no harm, you can walk away. But more often than not, we find that the answer is yes, and people are more motivated. If I could just jump in with one other advice, as others have mentioned, talk to our admissions teams, talk with current students, alums. We are here to help you and make this a good experience for you. We're really not scary individuals.
I can see that. Carla?
Thanks, Jeff. And I'm going to piggyback a little bit off of what Casey said, because we also found that we have created 3 different graduate programs. So basically, we can just take 3 classes from the MBA. We have 4 concentrations I didn't mention. So we have the traditional leadership MBA. We have an operations management concentration, a healthcare concentration, and HR. But you can start by just taking 3 classes. If the whole 12 course, 3 year and a half to 3 year commitment seems daunting to you, you can always start and earn a graduate certificate after the 3rd class. And those classes still count towards your MBA. So it's a great way, if you're not sure about the entire time financial investment, you can get started. And the thing I just want to really reiterate is this program is transformational for the 1st class on. So even just get in there, take that 1st class. Much like Casey said, 71% of our students are getting multiple promotions and raises while they're going through the program, and it's because of that model where they're applying what they're learning immediately and they're seeing immediate results from it. So, I was, and also to go back to what Tracy said, is the biggest thing is just hit that submit button. Take the next step, and it feels kind of scary. I know a lot of times to bite up and chew this whole daunting experience, but just take the first step. You don't have to see the whole staircase, as Dr. Martin Luther King said.
Thank you. Emily, I have about 30 seconds. Sorry on that one. Any last
Sorry.
words on your end?
I'll just share the STEM designation of our full MBA program is important to us and something that acknowledges the deep analytical foundation, and also just that because it's the same MBA, our part-time students are able to transfer if their work situation changes or they decide they want to take a bigger career change and go full-time. That's an option at the Tepper School. So thank you.
Carla, Casey, Emily, Tracy, and yeah, I'm reading it right across the board. Thank you very much for really insightful and open discussion today. We really appreciate it. And thank you also to our readers for coming. And we hope this has been very helpful. And as I think everyone has now said, hit the submit.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.